We're going to start talking about some things that are really different. Everything we're going to be talking about is either here now or it's in development and it's going to happen. Solar panels, big deal. Energy usage, put them on your carports. Charging stations, this is a big deal. Other ideas, new structural systems, automatic parking. This presentation was done in 2008. We did this presentation in 2008, right here. We said you need electric car charging stations. Every leasing manager we said that to said, we don't need those. Cost you $14,000 to add one to an existing project. If you did it back then, it'd be, in the beginning, it'd probably be $1,000 a space. In 2008, we did 50 charging stations recommended on all of our apartment projects. Ran conduit for 40 and wired 10. The one we have out in San Jose right now, they have 75 electric cars and they have a waiting list for the stations and they're fighting over them. Times are changing. Now, this is the key. It's a 2,000-year-old item. Here's my keys. Why are we still using keys? This is my avatar to my Tesla. This can do all kinds of things. Plus, on my iPhone from here, I can turn it on and I can see where it's going. Why is that important? I'll tell you two reasons. When I land in the airplane, and it's 100 degrees in Dallas, it's nice to turn on your car and have the air conditioner running, right? You get there and it's 75 degrees. The other thing is, when you valet your car at some restaurant, it's also nice to see, make sure the valet is not Ferris Bueller. So we're going to talk about the key. These things are disruptive technology. Disruptive. If you've not heard what that means, it's like the iPhone. iPhone killed Kodak, killed a lot of mapping systems, even a folding map. You know, this has been going on since the beginning of time. In Boston Harbor at the turn of the century, they had all sailing ships in the harbor. 2 years later, it was all steamships. Disruptive time. So Schindler's automatic access to the building. And the system they've invented is not only they walk up to the front door of their building at night, a young lady, and click, the door unlocks, and she walks into the building. She walks up to the elevator, and it goes ding, and she walks in the elevator. There are no floor buttons. This is technology today. It takes her to her floor. She walks down her hallway. She walks up to her unit, and her door opens, and she walks in. Her boyfriend calls and says, hey, I'd like to come over. She says, fine. And she sends him a passcode. They can come in, and then it'll quit. You know, the future is also about energy usage. California is trying to go zero by 2020. It's like self-sufficient units, and you become a utility if you're an owner. It's not about what you generate, it's about what you use. Everybody's doing electric appliances in all their apartments. So we actually notified all of our offices in the United States, hey, let's start recommending gas cooktops. Our California office said, too late, we're already doing it out here. And so the gas cooktop is much more efficient. We've looked at pricing on it. It's about the same as electric cooktop. The gas companies are dying to get more of your business, and so we're getting rebates from them. Tesla batteries, they've got the technology today. You can buy these. So you can buy however much wattage you want. What's interesting, he's part owner in Silver City, too. So this man knows where he's going with this stuff, right? Can you imagine if you start powering the entire United States and the rest of the world, and you are in competition with a utility company, and you as an apartment developer or manager are you're a utility. They have a grid work all across the United States. If you have a mixed-use development, they potentially will give you supercharging stations because they're trying to create a grid work where you can go in at lunch and eat and power your car up and go on the next 300 miles. We are designing, as we did 8 years ago, charging stations in all of our properties, drone landing stations, because the FAA is about ready to approve this. 7-Eleven, Amazon, Pizza Hut, Domino's, they're all on the list, so it'll come right to your place. You need to think about this. We thought about it. We've got these designs on some of our properties, student housing and market rate. It's not that easy to design a drone landing station. And you're saying, how do we get these packages up to everybody? The technology's here. The machine picks it up and delivers it to your unit. With the systems that are out there, to allow that young lady to come into her apartment building, it would allow this machine to come to her apartment door and drop it off. Of course, she's going to sign a release, and the machine will be able to tell whether she's home or not. So if she's home, it could electronically ring the doorbell. You ready for the future? Hold on. Let's go.
So here we have it, the building of the future. You're flying in your unmanned driverless Uber-like drone into your unit. A building that is sustainable, green by definition, collects its own energy, solar, wind, takes care of its own waste, recycles water, grows its own food, and provides all the amenities that you need today. The building that engages the street like it should and provides all the solutions for the driverless Uber-like drop-off areas. You'll be calling your app, the platform will slide down, boom, you park, you walk into your unit. The basic numbers on this, a 70-story building has about 600 units an acre. It has a typical floor, and it has a range of units, from 500 square feet to about 1,500 square feet on the lower levels, and then penthouses on the upper 20 floors that go up to 3,500 square feet. And what Mark is pointing at is a system that we developed. It's a two-core system. So instead of having what we typically see on an apartment building where you have a central elevator core with 4 or 5 elevators and then a long corridor, you have this intimate lobbies, small, cozy, well-finished, and your unit opens up to it. That by itself saves about 1.5 to 2 percentage points on construction. And it has its own robotic parking garage. It has what we call a wind veil on the skin of the garage, and these are small pallets, aluminum pallets, real inexpensive to do, and they flip with the wind. So the garage doesn't have to look like a garage. The garage is now a sculpture. Now, the parking garage itself, robotic. Why robotic? Number one, as sites get smaller and smaller, they're not developable sometimes. You cannot build a parking garage. If you don't have 122 feet or 125 feet to ramp around at a 6%, you can't do it. So this allows a lot of small sites, urban infill sites, to be developable. You can park them, 2 or 3 at a time in tandem, because the computer assigns the space, and you just call it up. So you can be in your unit on the 10th, 15th floor. Before you leave your house, you call it up, you go downstairs, and they'll retrieve it for you. It's waiting for you. People are paying for the views if you do in a high-rise. You don't want to live on the second floor. So this building has obviously all the back of house on the lower floors. What we show here is the 2 cores, the 2 elevators going up and down the buildings, and also our recycling plant. We're starting to be forced to take care of the mess that we produce in buildings. So we will be required in the future to take care of all our recycling. And that means gray water. Real accessible, easy to do. You can use it for flushing your toilet. You can use it for doing your laundry. You can use it for green walls in the building. And we're proposing that the building has its own vertical farm. For many reasons now, it's something that's possible to do. It used to be the lighting cost was huge. The new technologies in LED lighting now allow you, with a combination of red and green lights, to almost emulate photosynthesis. So as you move up in the building, amenity centers with our steam room in it, 2 big issues to talk about today. It was mentioned package delivery number 1. So Lecture 1 is one of the systems you actually solve that issue on. You get it delivered with a robot that Mark shows you one. It is stored in this closet. You get a message, either text or email, telling you have a package, and you have 1 to 3 days to retrieve it. Now, management might be charging you for it or not. That depends, but that's doable. And we go up the building, go to the VIP level with its own amenity center and its own landing pad on every unit. On the units themselves, a couple of big items to talk about. Number 1 is the size of exterior space. And you can open large expanses of glass and totally communicate interior with exterior. In the inside, the big trend is now kitchens. They're getting more and more luxurious. You got Italian brands that are anywhere from 30 to 50 to 200,000 seamless, modular systems, no hardware, everything is hidden from view, it disappears, it goes away, and it's like a luxury item. And you also have, how do you handle package delivery? So you're going to get packages two ways. UPS on the ground, robot takes it to Luxor One, you store it, or you get it up through the air. The technology is there right now, regulations are not. But you can park your drone on the upper level if you have to. The drone will bring your package, there it is flying in, you see it, drops it off on a conveyor belt, and uses the same shaft, elevator shaft, for your sky garages. So they drop it off, and you're not building anything new, and you're not paying for anything, it goes all the way down to the amenity center. This building also uses new technology in solar charging. It used to be, you couldn't get a solar cell transparent. So what goes through is transparent. So now, voila, you have a transparent building. We have carbon fiber structure. That's also something that's coming up, lighter, a lot stiffer than steel. We're using that structurally. So this is the building.